Good evening. Yeah, it's evening, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. My guest tonight is Fell Hound, whose upcoming book, S.I.R, is coming from, and I completely forget which, is it Boom putting it
Boom,
out?
yeah.
Yeah, coming from Boom in a couple of weeks. I should have pulled that up before I started talking. I normally have the date at my fingertips. I dropped the ball. I'm sorry. So how you doing tonight,
Okay.
Phil?
I'm great. Yeah, thank you for having me
Okay.
on. I'm really excited to chat with you about motorcycle jousting.
Yeah, that was a cool thing to see. Underground motorcycle jousting at the elite prep school. That that seems to be that's the tagline, right? Underground,
Pretty much.
or it could be. Underground motorcycle jousting at elite prep school. So that's where I'm going to start. Give me the front counter pitch for Fell.
Yeah,
If
so
you're going to try to sell it to me at the comic shop.
all right. So normally I just yell
Or
motorcycle
for
jousting really
Sir,
loudly.
you're Phil. Sir.
It's all good.
Okay. I mean, that's the way to do it.
Yes, but my longer pitch, that's not just me yelling. It's basically, yeah, it's about motorcycle jousting. It's got queer romance. It's basically about these two lovers, Avery and Nico, and they have a pretty rocky relationship. Nico's moved to an elite prep school and got separated. So Avery wants to come to the school and try to reunite and fix the relationship with Nico. Unfortunately, Avery doesn't know that there's this giant underground motorcycle jousting ring that's kind of getting in the way of their relationship being sorted out. So, in order to really reconnect with Nico and fix the relationship, Avery would have to face the trials and the tribulations of the motorcycle joust. It comes out August 14th from Boom Studios, and we've got like a really, really amazing team. I'm writing and drawing the story. We've got L.A. Bruni on colors, Becca Carey on letters. We've got Elizabeth Bry on edits and two amazing covers, variant covers from Alessio Zono and Polina Ganesho. We also have a really, really cool Akira like homage cover from Bengala that's available on the Boom Web store. And it's really, really cool.
I read the first issue today, and I agree. It is super cool and like different enough that I gotta ask for like basic inspirational stuff. Where'd this one come from?
Yeah, so before I made this pitch, I got really into a lot of like ridiculous sports anime. I was watching one called Birdie Wing, which is about golf. I'm normally not like a huge like golf person, but because this was anime golf where like the golf balls went through trees and also somebody just pulled out a rocket launcher in the middle of this golf anime, I was like, okay, I'm invested now. There was like an underground golf mafia, and I was like, this is ridiculous, and I was having a lot of fun with it. I was also watching another sports anime called Skate Infinity, which is about skateboarding, also insane skateboarding, and I kind of just fell in love with the idea of having like an insane sports anime vibe. At the same time, I was really into a new show called Gundam: The Witch from Mercury, which has a lot to do with like school dueling. It's it seemed very much inspired by Revolutionary Girl Utena, which is also about school dueling, which is a series that I really love. So when I was making this, I was like, I want to put everything that I currently love into this pitch. And what do I love right now? I like school dueling. I like insane sports anime. And I felt like motorcycle jousting could combine the two, where it's like you've got the school dueling, you've got the insane sports, and you've got the romance. And it was just like sort of like a fun project for me to do to just like combine everything that I wanted to see more of.
Sounds good. And you managed to pitch it and have it picked up, which makes it even cooler. I mean, how to put, I always have to sometimes when I'm trying to make the biggest compliments, I have to think the hardest about how to say it because this is the type of thing where it's like I love this first issue. I really want to know where it goes, and I'm sitting there going, how on earth did you successfully pitch this?
I mean,
You know,
yeah.
it would have made sense if it was like you got tipped to me by, I mean, and you were, Michelle Avenue loves you. She
Michelle.
raved about you when we were talking about when we were young. So we'll talk about that story at some point too. Um, but it feels like the type that you'd come across like at, at an indie con and pick up and like go, oh, I need to show this to everybody I know in the industry because this needs a wider audience, not the one that like comes out from Boom. So at first, my hat's off to you. That's just
Thank you.
amazing. But second, like, I mean, who did you pitch it to? How did that? I mean, and the other, and it makes sense that I mean, I saw the manga anime tinge in your art style, but it's also my true joke about manga, and one of the things that I love about manga is pick any three unrelated things, and there's manga about that.
Pretty much.
Cooking in the dungeon, sure. Um, so yeah, talk to me about pitching.
Yeah, so when I got invited to pitch the Boom, I actually pitched them like multiple things before S.I.R got picked up. Uh, Unfortunately, none of them went through. And I think with S.I.R, it was basically sort of, it wasn't like a last ditch effort, but I was like, okay, I really want to make something that I was so passionate about that I think it could like the passion could leap off the page in the pitch almost.
Okay.
And because I knew it was going to be absolutely ridiculous, I basically decided to just lean into it. Like it's going to be fun. It's going to be kind of stupid. It's going to be really cool and insane. And I think when you're trying to pitch something like that, you really just have to like lean 100% into it. Like I was like, yes, this is going to be insane. It's going to be stupid. If you like, shoujo manga, if you like sports animes, if you like fence, it's going to be a great comp with this other boom book that's already done really well. So really, it was just like, hey, like if you want something fun and stupid and motorcycles, then please check out this book. I think it also helps that my editor Elizabeth, who I pitched to, I knew that she had kickstarted another like queer sports book called Rubber Match with Cody Okamoto, and I really love that book. So I kind of figured that maybe if she liked sports, like queer sports stuff, that maybe if I
Right.
pitched something in that line, then maybe she would like it and hopefully have fun working on it.
There you go.
So yeah, and I'm glad it worked out because I think she also really understands what I'm trying to do with this book. I think she's also like a really big fan of like, the sort of manga anime inspired stuff. So it was like working on this book, having an editor who like understands like your vision and what you want to do with it, I think is really important. And I feel really grateful to have her in my corner when like making this book.
If you can give us more insight without spoiling anything, what are you? I mean, most of the time when people say what I'm trying to do with the book, they have some sort of grand vision of what they're trying to accomplish. If you can share more of that without spoiling things, if you can't just say no, spoiler alert, I'll talk to you in 3 months.
I mean, I'm trying to say what I can say about it. Basically, it's with any of my work, I really like, I'm a big fan of queer romances. So the romance is like a big like, a part of the story. Like, yes, it's motorcycle jousting, but I think the core of the story and why people want to come back for more is because of the character drama. And I really try to play that up and lean into it and also tie that into the ridiculousness of motorcycle jousting. It really is just like, I really hope that like the Nico and Avery's relationship is going to, you know, sort of like pay off and have like a satisfying ending for people who are reading. Um, and I feel like that's all I can really say. But they're gonna have to earn it, obviously, through the motorcycle jousts.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get used to saying motorcycle jousting without like cracking up or
I've said it so many times now. To be honest, I like have fun with it. I'm just like motorcycle
I
jousting.
can see that you have fun with it now. I'm just trying to imagine, was there that point where Fell's like, yeah, it's about motorcycle jousting?
I don't know. To be honest, I was really excited about it. I don't know why.
From
I was like,
the
this
get-go.
sounds
Second the idea went in your head, it's like motorcycle jousting. Everybody needs this.
yeah, that was kind of it, to be honest. Or at least like I knew I needed it. And I kind of hope that other people wanted it too.
I mean, that's the best. reason to make any piece of art is you need it. I mean, it's good if other people need it too, and it's really good because artists need to be like paid because food costs money.
Sadly.
Crazy things, right?
And it's only going up.
Well, it's been leveling out. Um, um, tell me about tell me about your journey to here, because again, your name had come across my radar, but this is the first book of yours that I've seen. So I can't ask you as many like book related questions as I normally do.
I was like, I know that. I know I should have sent you some of my past stuff. But it's okay because
No, it's
before,
okay. It just gives us an excuse to talk again.
yeah, no, I love chatting. So before S.I.R, I actually like my first comics that I ever made. They were like back in 2020, and it was I think the one that I'm best known for outside of S.I.R is one called Commander Rao. It's like a sci-fi action one shot. Originally kickstarted and then picked up by Scout. And that book was very, very, very different from S.I.R. It was complete opposite. It was full on bloody murder and tragedy and pain. And I made a sequel comic to that called And We Love You that was more tragedy and pain and it made a ton of people cry and like everybody died. So it was very, very different than what I do now. But
If you
while
think
making,
those were your Hamlet, and this is like your Midsummer Night's Dream.
yeah,
The
I think you
comedy.
need like a balance.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I think it was because I was making such like sad comics that I felt like this is too sad. I want to feel like excited and happy about stuff again. So I knew I wanted my next project to be like less depressing. And I think with S.I.R, it's to be honest, even artistically, it looks very different from my past project. I basically spent a year trying to figure out how to draw in like a YA style or like in a style that seems that it could fit in with more like YA books because my art style before this was very bloody murder. And I didn't want to do that for years. So it was kind of a journey just to figure
Put
out how
that
to
in your
like
back
make this
pocket,
book.
but it's good to be diversified as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Bloody murder book, one happy fun book.
Yeah, you gotta appeal to everybody, you know?
Well, and you got to figure out what pays the bills. I mean, it's like the actor. Let me do the Hollywood movie, and then I get to make my artsy movie. And
Yes. You know,
uh,
George Miller made Happy Feet and Mad Max, so
exactly. I'm in Chicago, so John Cusack's a local boy, and I actually heard him talk about. Well, yeah, no, I know American Sweethearts was American Sweethearts, but how do you think I pay for things like High Fidelity and Gross Point Blank?
oh my gosh, I love that.
You know, and it's true. I mean, I was actually literally just talking to, um, I guess they're my wife's cousins once removed because they're her cousin's kids. We're talking books, and one of them was talking about, sometimes when I just need something, I run to Walmart, I'll grab a Walmart book. I'm like, yeah, no, we've reached a day where few enough books are sold that what Walmart books are the best books that have a wide audience. We don't have the 12 feet of trashy romance at the grocery store anymore.
That's fair,
There's not
yeah.
enough market for that. So I mean, if it's at Walmart, it's probably at least a read that you won't regret spending your time on. It might not be the best in the genre, but if it's a Walmart, it's going to sell better. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm friends with Bob Sikoriak, who got to do the art for Tom Hanks' book. Tom
Oh
Hanks
wow.
Tom Hanks wrote a book this year, and he had three 8-page comics in it, and Bob got to do all three of the comics. Um, and so every time I saw it in the wild, I was sending him a picture, and he's like, "Yeah, you know that it's there because of Tom, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, but people are gonna get to see your art, and it pays the bills."
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's getting royalties because like that's huge.
I don't know if he gets royalties. I think it was
Oh,
probably work for hire, but it was probably one of the better work for hire gigs that he you know.
That's true,
Um,
yeah.
and you manage to do something like that, and suddenly you're on the radar of the next guy that decides that they want to do something that includes. I mean, as it turns out, I mean, I don't want to make this Tom Hanks podcast, but Tom Hanks' book is essentially about making a movie out of a superhero comic. So that was why it needed to have comics, but it also needed to have comics from different eras because they were inspired by different iterations of the superhero. Bob's thing is he is like the king of mimicking other artists. Um, the book that put him on the indie map is he did a book called Terms and Conditions, which is literally the text is the iTunes terms and conditions,
Wow.
but each page is a page from comic book history redone with Steve Jobs taking one of the character, there's an X-Men page where it's Steve Jobs as Wolverine. There's a Charlie Brown page with Steve Jobs as Charlie Brown. Um,
That's so cool.
Similarly, he's done masterpiece classics where like he did Metamorphosis as Charlie Brown. He did Hamlet as Dennis the Menace. So he was the perfect guy to we need one 50s war comic, we need one 70s superhero comic, and one gritty 90s image type.
No, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. That versatility is like really, really useful.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I always say. I mean, you gotta have. I've gone completely off the track. You can tell that I'm a teacher. This is I think my podcast since I stopped teaching summer school. My brain hasn't completely reformed yet. I apologize.
No, it's okay. It was very educational.
So what we do here. But yeah, no, I never ever begrudge an artist paying the bills. I never ever begrudge an artist having fun. And I love artists that like expand themselves. So when you tell me something like, I spent a year learning how to draw in this different way, I'm like, well, first, I hope that you weren't hungry that year. I hope you had an income stream of some sort. So it wasn't a big deal. And second, that's amazing because, the more versatile you are, the more, I mean, my favorite artists, it's not always easy to tell when it's their work. Some of my favorite artists have a very unique style, and some of them, like Peter Krause and Alex Cormack, their style fits whatever they're doing. You know? So I'm looking forward now to looking back at your older stuff because I want to see the difference.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll be
tell me
happy to
about
send them to you.
yeah, tell me about what you did for the When We Were Young anthology, which I haven't
Yeah.
gotten yet because it hasn't been printed yet, but it's coming soon, I've heard.
Yes, I've seen photos of the print copy, so I know that they exist
Me
somewhere.
too.
Yeah, so the When I Was Young anthology, edited by the amazing Michelle Ebenator, basically like me and Michelle, we've been friends for quite a long time. And Michelle, I know really is basically like the I don't know, like the royalty of like making queer anthologies. Like she's done like Color of Always and like Sharp Wit and the Company of Women. She did this one. I thought it was like a really it's basically like stories that you wanted to like sort of tell your younger self or like
Right,
wish you knew when you were young, and it's
right.
obviously a theme that I think many people, but especially like queer people, like can resonate with. So I was really happy to be part of this project, especially since it was a charity project. To be honest, my story, it was only a one-page story. Unfortunately, because I was between S.I.R while drawing it, I didn't have time for a longer story, but I was still really grateful to get
Great
that
one
one page
pager
in.
can be, I like a good one pager.
Yeah. So the thing about me is that I really like, before I got into S.I.R, a lot of my comics had very, I guess, like experimental layouts almost. I used to be like really inspired by J.H. Williams, who has like,
Okay.
the most bombastic visual layouts. So my one page comic is once again ties into trying to do something cool with the visual layout of the story. And it's basically just about feeling like sort of like trapped and that you can't talk about things that you want to say.
Okay.
because because one page, like there's not a lot I can say without spoiling it completely.
No, I
But
get it. I get it. I get it. I'm looking
yeah,
forward to seeing it. But that leads well into gonna ask one of my standard questions, but I'm gonna do it in a slightly different way. The standard question is I like people to give me their comics biography, which is essentially tell me where you fell in love with comics. I picked up my first comic at out with my dad when I was 4. It was Marvel's Superhero Secret Wars #1. I was just the right age at the right time.
nice.
Um, your journey in comics in terms of what you read, what you read, how you fell in love with it, what makes it the art form that you like to tell stories in, that sort of thing. But because you said a couple of my favorite words there, which is that you're fascinated by the form and page layout and that sort of thing, try to like specifically highlight comics that have changed the way you looked at what could be done with comics.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so I'll start from the very beginning. Basically, when I was young, my dad had these like Chinese comic strips that were like compiled into like little books. I don't remember what they were called in English, but it was really cute, and I like read them all the time. And I thought they were like it was like really funny and just like like cute little cartoon strips. But then when I was in like grade 4, I think I bought like a Calvin and Hobbes book and I fell in love with those. They were like so cute and so fun. I still have like a bunch
Okay,
of them.
this is where I need to interrupt you for a second. Have you been to the Billy Ireland Museum?
I have not, no.
Okay.
Do I have
Billy
to go?
Ireland, Billy Ireland Museum at Ohio State. It's part of the library there. First of all, everybody should go to Comics Crossroads Columbus, whether you're tabling or just going as a person. Comics Crossroads Columbus is something that every comic fan owes themselves at least once. But the Billy Ireland Museum, among so many things, has essentially all of the original Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh my gosh.
Because Watterson went to Ohio State and Watterson has never sold his art.
Oh wow.
So
Oh,
they
that's
have
so
everything that he didn't give as gifts to other people.
oh
And
yeah, now
and
I have
and
an excuse to get to
they
Ohio.
will take, they've got a list of what they have online. You can make requests. They'll bring it out to the reading room for you to look at or whatnot. Start getting in with some of the people. You can get yourself a back room tour. Or during CXC, they do them every hour.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I was lucky enough to have Jeff Smith take me on one when I was out there. A lot of his stuff is there too, because he went to Ohio State.
Mhm.
Like every cartoonist should go at least once. But when you said Calvin and Hobbes, it just popped into my head. So anyway, tangent over. Continue.
Yeah, I mean now I gotta put that on my bucket list. But yeah, so after Calvin and Hobbes, to be honest, I kind of fell off of going back to reading comics for a hot minute. What really got me back into it, to be honest, was like at the end of high school, the Avengers movies came out, and
Okay.
I was one of those people who was like, the Avengers movies are cool. I am going to check out the comic books. So I went to the library, I got some Avengers comics, and they were cool. But
Managed to pick out the right ones.
I don't even remember what I picked. It was just like anything that
But if
had
you thought they
characters I
were
knew.
cool, you clearly picked out because there's so many, and I loved the Avengers, but there's so many years of Avengers that were
I
so
mean, it
small. But
might
if
be a
people,
reason why I don't remember what I picked out.
it's possible
Uh,
too. But
yeah,
you
but it
didn't
was
turn
around.
off the comics entirely, clearly.
That's true. But yeah, so two things actually happened at that time when I first started getting into comics after the Avengers movies. The first thing that happened was that I really wanted to try and find like a queer superhero just because I was like, like a young queer at the time.
Right.
So I just went online and typed in like queer superhero on Google, and the first thing that popped up was Batwoman. So basically, I went out, I bought Batwoman Elegy, and I was like shocked because it was like Greg Rucka, J.H. Williams, and they are, fantastic, like top of their game. And I saw these layouts in Batwoman Elegy, and I was like, what? I've never read a comic like this before. This is insane. And I've always like before this, I've always wanted to be a writer. I took like a bunch of writing courses in school, and I was like, I want to be a writer. I want to tell stories. After I saw,
Are you about to tell me that you started drawing like 10 years ago?
yeah.
Okay, that's not quite as bad as Elsa Chartier, who like took 2 years to become amazing, but still, that's not fair. Anyway, continue.
No worries. Yeah, yeah. So it was really like that moment where I was like, oh, comics is the ultimate storytelling medium.
It
This
is.
is the greatest thing in the world. The other thing at the time that got me really into comic books was outside of the Avengers movies, I was really like I was just catching up on Disney's Gargoyles, which I only saw in high school. And then it ended, and I realized that, or I found out that they actually had like a season three, but it was only in the comics.
Right.
So basically, I went hunting for these like lost season three comics. I went to like every single comic book store I could find in the GTA, and I finally found them. But when I was going through like all these comic book stores, I would like come across other comics that looked cool. So I just like took, bought a bunch and checked them out. I think I bought like Saga was one of them,
Okay.
Walking Dead. Um, but yeah, and then after that, just started reading a ton of comics. Went to the library a lot. And that's basically how
Libraries are
I.
fantastic resources for comics.
Oh, they're fantastic. I've picked up like almost like every single book that I could find there.
So J.H. Williams is definitely an influence. Any other artists that wound up jumping at you through the years?
Oh, 100%. Phil Netto, Terry Moore. I love Strangers in Paradise. One of my favorite comic books of all time.
Well, then, like, keep in touch and stick around because every time I have Terry Moore on, I feel like I need somebody new to talk to him and ask new questions. So,
Oh my
and
gosh, yeah.
you know, Terry's awesome.
Oh, he's so good, so talented. Um,
So amazing.
yes, like literally, like feel like it's every indie comics creator's dream to be where he is at with his comic books. Other artists, I really love Claire Rowe.
Okay.
I knew Claire as like a fan artist on Tumblr, drawing just like that one fan art, and it's really
Yep,
cool that she's like doing all this stuff for like DC now and Marvel.
yep.
Um, and like I there's a bunch of artists who are like not comic book artists that I really love because I was on Tumblr a lot in my teens. There's just like people who just draw really cool fan art that I really liked.
Right.
Um,
But and I wasn't meaning to put you on the spot. Give me the entire list. Because I'm always I too am fascinated by page layout. I have become more fascinated with page layout the more I talk to artists and realize like how much time they spend figuring out how to tell the story. So, you start from like panel by panel, and then it's like, well, but the panels don't have to be the same size. And then it's like, well, but the panels actually need to be there. So I'm always curious to hear how people. I mean, I'm writing. I wrote one column, and as long as there's another one, I'll do another at American Nature Presents that are essentially like these are the comics that changed the way that I looked at comics. Yeah.
nice.
Every time, Saga was one of them, Fiona, and like every reread of Saga, I like Fiona more because I'll notice one other little thing that I hadn't noticed before. And like know that it was there and influenced how much I loved the book, even though I didn't remember it. You know
No,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Like it's
Um,
been a while since I've caught up on those comics, but I do remember like a lot of like the character design and visual design was really really amazing.
Bro, the moment that like blew my mind, and God, I think it's my seventh or eighth reread probably. Well, I used to reread it between every trade back
Oh,
paperback.
nice.
And it was the first one where I decided I'm going to go panel by panel on my phone. So I have to actually like zoom in and look at what Fiona's doing. Violence, she tilts the panels.
Oh,
Every act of violence has a tilted panel. It doesn't have and I'm like, that like gives it, particularly given the characters and how much they're trying to get away from violence, the added emphasis that that gives in such a subtle way is insane. Which is
Hmm.
why I'm always curious as to what people think about and what people don't. I mean, I remember when I was talking to Elsa Chartier, and she'd just come off of Friday. So she was talking about how she'd been like really specific and thought a ton about it. She's like, not like when I was doing Infinite Loop where I was just going by my gut. And I'm like, Infinite Loop has some of the most amazing page layouts I've ever seen. That was your gut?
Honestly, I love those books. Those are also one of those like early comics I picked up and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so cool."
The Infinite Loop was essentially her teaching herself how to do comics.
That's crazy. Just to
She'd
get
been,
it on the first try.
she'd been an actress. Her partner decided he wanted to write comics, so she decided to learn how to draw.
That's crazy. But
Elsa's amazing, but I just
no,
can't
yeah,
wrap my
that's
head around that. And
I mean
and
that's
yeah,
dedication.
Infinite Loop for anybody who haven't hasn't read it is like I don't even know how to describe it as a comic because I get lost in I mean I get lost in the story and I enjoy the story when I'm doing it, but what sticks with me afterwards is just the beauty of the storytelling.
Hmm.
You know, she's like she created her own form. And I saw a little bit. I'm so used to having. See, this is actually the problem. Most of the time when I'm doing these interviews, I have the comic up next to me because I've got two screens at home and I kept
Oh,
I brought my iPad down, but I hadn't. I loved a lot of your layout decisions. I loved how
thank
you put
you.
the Pinterest essay along with snippets in such a way that it became really well, no, the entrance essay along with snippets and I think you've got her thoughts as well. So it's like you're already starting to understand that the entrance essay was played up specifically while you're getting snippets of like, why do you want to go? I mean, the it's a type of storytelling that can't be done in any other medium because you're essentially telling the story on at least three and maybe four different levels, all on
Mhm.
these first couple of pages. Um,
Yeah, so that was actually like this is my first time doing like a mini series where I had like the 22 pages per issue and I'm not
right,
like unlimited pages. So I felt like I had to learn how to condense my world building into
right.
like these like 22 pages. So a
Well,
lot of the layered storytelling is just me trying to like I need to do so much world building. Oh
I
no.
mean, that's, I mean, I mentioned it briefly when you were talking about only having a page and when we were young, sometimes having constraints turns things better. I mean, I'm a super amateur poet, and sometimes when I'm writing poetry, I will start with the form just because it will force me to find the right words. You know,
Mhm.
so if you have something that you want to say and you know that you have just this much space, that's going to make you be creative in terms of how to use that space. It's like the anti if you do you know Michael Chabon's Wonder Boys or the movie that they made out of it?
I'm
Okay,
not familiar, sorry.
yeah, it's okay. It's a fantastic book about a novelist writing a book. And essentially the biggest problem is like his follow-up novel, and he's been writing it forever. And essentially the problem is he just doesn't make any choices. So it just keeps getting longer and longer and longer and being even farther from the ending because there's so much going on. Um, so like when you get given the opportunity to just go wherever, it doesn't always lead to great art because I mean, another example is like the Grateful Dead. When they jam well, there's no better jam band. But it became so expected that they were going to jam that they always tried to jam. And on the nights that they didn't have it, it'd just be a bunch of guys going around on a riff for 10 minutes and not finding any groove to improvise on. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, so I really, I mean, these opening pages in particular, where the essay almost explodes into arriving on campus on the first day, and then the massive number of missed calls, and they're running around trying to find, just the opening 5 or 6 pages really establish your character as somebody who's lost, but like their obvious loss isn't the loss that bothers them as much, but they're willing to play on it.
Yes.
Um, has a certain obsessiveness because it's like, okay, I'm here, time to jump into this. Let's not figure out my classes. Let's not figure out, let's
No,
go around like a crazy person and show a picture to all of these people I don't know.
she's got a mission. She's got goals.
Right. Um, and then like the fight and not resolved particularly well, and then the reminiscing, and then looking up and what the hell is this Roman arena? Was that there before? And then we learn about motorcycle jousting. That's issue one. And I have way more questions than answers, which is a dangerous thing to do with the first issue. But I think I'm hoping for your sake, because it's great for sales, that it's one of those that people are going to pick up, tell other people get, and like absolutely need issue two, because it's like, okay, what comes next? Um, but yeah, no, your page layouts are uh, subtle. It's not, I mean, you brought up J.H. Williams, and J.H. Williams often does, very, very unconventional pages. Beautifully so. I'm not, and I love a lot of unconventional pages, but yours come closer to. I can also tell that you read a lot of manga, and not just in the chins and mouths, but in some of the page layout design. You're less afraid of angled panels than a lot of more traditional American artists are. But I also love, like, I'm looking at the page where Avery is essentially going through her Instagram and her old stuff, and you've got that full moon, you've got the near tearful Avery next to the open window, and then just 6 panels of and you avoided the trick, the trap of putting them as like just the screens. You can see the thumb and a couple of fingers in each panel. That's clearly her looking down. Um, yeah, I don't even know what to say except that, like, I mean, first, a dumb question from the guy who like can't draw a lake. How much do you really plan out angles, panel layout, whatnot? How much of it like just kind of comes with the feel of the story?
To be honest with this particular story, I actually feel like I pared down a lot on my layouts in terms of like the ambition, which I think might just speak to like how weird my older work was. But this one, because I really just, it's my first mini series, I was like, I just need to get it done. So I was like, not every single page needs to look weird. It just has, but it has to be functional. It has to be readable. That was my goal. So
Functional is more important than weird. Weird and functional is amazing, but there's nothing worse than trying to read a comic and you're going, well, this is beautiful, but it's not helping me understand what's going on.
yeah. So like, and specifically because this was kind of like a YA comic, it's like I need it to be like more readable than my other stuff. But I told myself I was gonna give myself like at least like 2 pages where I could do something like really fun layouts wise per issue. And those usually present themselves in the motorcycle fight scene. So hopefully every issue going forward, you're gonna have like 2 really fun pages where I get to like pop off, and then everything else is like I gotta get this book done.
I'm now glancing at your website, which starts with, did you get a Batwoman cover?
No, that's a fan art. I made a medieval Batwoman
Okay.
redesign.
No,
But
it's very cool. It would have been. I'll mention anybody at DC that I know, and I don't know enough at DC anymore because they keep going through management changes. But
if you're curious about what my pages used to look like, look up the comic And We Love You and look at those sample pages, and you can see there's a
that's
bit of a difference.
exactly where I'm going right now. Okay. No, I mean I can see that it's still you.
Okay, yeah. It's a different
I mean
mood.
it's a different story. And it's got but like the last two the last two pages of the sample that you have on your website here have a very similar panel structure to a lot of what you did. I mean, obviously darker colors and whatnot, but
Yeah.
and no, thus far, who knows what you'll do in a later joust. Thus far, you haven't separated panels with streams of blood. So
Not yet.
that is though pretty brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
I am a fan. Um, oh, I love those eyes at the top of the second page too, because I mean, really, a comic book artist has so much that they have to do. It's your job to pace the story. It's your job to do the acting, both the body language and the facial expressions. Um, the writer just has to come up with words. But you're doing both. How do you work? Do you script first? Do you do art first? Do they kind of come together?
So for my first comic, Commander Rao, it was a bit of a mess because all I had was like I could see the visuals in my head, and I didn't have a script. I literally just made an outline and then I drew the whole comic book, and then I wrote all the words in after the fact before I sent them to the letterer. Um, and I was surprised that it actually came together somewhat because I felt like the process was so chaotic. For every other project after that, I tried to start with a script first.
Okay.
And like ideally I would have like the entire script done and the entire story done before I even start drawing it. With S.I.R, because it's like a mini series, a monthly series, they've got deadlines. I was drawing and writing at the same time, but I still wanted to write all the scripts and get them out of the way as fast as I can.
Okay. And I mean, again, I mean, there's different scripting for different creative teams to begin with, but when you're writing for yourself, I'm always curious how how detailed are your scripts? Are you doing mostly dialogue and a couple notes because you see it in your head? Are you like writing down pretty specific instructions to yourself on what to draw? I mean, I have heard artists go either way on this, so like there's no wrong answer. I'm just always fascinated.
Yeah, so with my honestly, my scripts are very, when I'm writing for myself, my scripts are very functional. My goal is that the editor knows what I'm doing without me overdoing it, and the letterer knows what I'm doing without me overdoing it. But like, if I'm on my own and like writing dialogue or whatever, sure, I can pop off some purple prose. But when it comes to like paneling, I'm just like, it's I don't really flower it up or anything. It's very just like, okay, she rides on the motorcycle. She, I don't know, jousts in the motorcycle. It's like very functional.
That makes sense. I always think it's hilarious when actually um artists tell me that they like give themselves detailed like you're the artist. Why do you need to tell yourself the camera angle? It's like, well, because and for some of them it's actually pretty good. It's because they're so used to working with other people that they've fallen into a certain rhythm where when they're drawing, they just want to know what they're drawing rather than thinking about when they're drawing. So they script for themselves in a way that when they draw it, they just have to draw it rather than going, okay, what's this joust going to look like? Um,
Mhm.
but I can see it both ways. I was just checking to see. I don't know where I know I can buy digital from Scout. Um, was trying to see if Scout was on any of the myriad of streaming services that I pay money to already.
Oh, I mean, it's okay. I'll just send you the book. It's fine.
I won't stop you, but I like to pay people too.
Oh, well,
And
it's
when I
very
saw
good.
the art, I went, "Oh, that looks pretty."
Oh,
Um, so we are coming around the corner of where I wanted to start thinking about wrapping up. So my last two questions. The first one is anything else on the horizon you're allowed to talk about? Anything more you want to say about this book that hasn't come out already?
yeah. So in terms of next projects, mostly this year, I just have a couple covers that haven't, like, I guess, been announced yet. But otherwise, it's been a very motorcycle justy year. I've been mostly dedicated to drawing this book and getting this book out. And again, it's my first mini series, so there's excitement and there's some nervousness, but I hope people will enjoy at least the ridiculousness of motorcycle jousting.
Right.
And I guess just final wrap up reminders. S.I.R number one drops on August 14th. FOC has passed, but honestly, every sale, every pre-order, like every time you tweet about
Well,
it or
and we did mention it before FOC on the show as well. So,
Mhm.
there have been people that have heard the words motorcycle jousting from us.
Oh,
Hi,
then
Mom. Hi, John.
thank you to those very kind people. I really appreciate it. But yeah, and just like thanks for having me on.
So
I really
how
love
many
chatting.
issues will it be?
Pardon?
How many issues?
Oh yes, it's 5 issues
Five
total.
issue miniseries. Okay. And it'll be monthly?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
Yes.
Now my final and favorite question. And I prefer the answers to be comics, but I don't really care. Tell me something that you love that you wish more people had read, experienced, done, whatever, because you need more people to talk to about it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm prepared for this question because I have the answer because this is basically what I've been chatting about for like 2 years. There is a Chinese webcomic called My Dear Lass, and it is about like it's about like a small town, slow burn, queer romance with a peach farmer and the new baker who moves into town, and it is so beautiful. It's so sweet. It's so slow burn romantic. And I've basically just been like nonstop shouting about it to everybody I know. Basically, like I don't know even how to say it. It's just so good. It's basically what inspired my entire art style, my journey into like trying to make something like lighter and fluffier and not like sad and gay and pain all the time. But yeah, beautiful Chinese webcomic called My Dear Lass. It because it is in Chinese. I do read it through scanlations, and it like rarely ever updates. But when it does, I am like at the edge of my seat on those updates.
All right. You have a favorite place to be able to read it in English?
Yes. You can read it on MangaDex, the website, and at the bottom of every, I guess, like scanlated version, there are instructions on how to actually like support the creator on like
Okay.
the native website, which I highly suggest doing because it's an amazing book. It's an amazing comic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I have been trying to get more into web comics as if I have time to read more comics because I all sorts of comics. So if I wind up liking it, I may say, Fell, we got to start book clubbing this because
Yes.
that's something we do. We do book clubs. We like
Oh my
book clubs.
gosh.
Talking
I know
about
Michelle has also read it, so and
well,
loves it.
then there we go. We have a third. And if
Yes.
she read it, she's probably told Heather about it too. So,
Yes.
Fel, it has been a pleasure. The book is S.I.R. I'm very much looking forward to it. Remind everybody what S.I.R. means. I don't think we've actually said that on the air. So, S.I.R.
Oh,
is an
yeah.
acronym.
So the name of the underground motorcycle jousting club is called Seismic Iron Clash Roulette, and that's what SIR stands for.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. And for 22 panels, this has been Fell Hound, and we will see you after the next page.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22panelspodcast.